click on the subscribe button, and press the bell icon, to never miss any updates.
Thank you very much to BAPA for recognizing me tonight and inviting me out here. Thank you to Police Commissioner O'Neill for your leadership, and thank you for your influence on my career directly. Thank you to our distinguished guests seated with the Police Commissioner. I'd also like to just quickly recognize, I do have some tables of friends here. I have a large group of friends from the NYPD Gaelic Football Club, and I also have a large table of friends from the Midtown South Precinct. Thank you. So before I share a brief story about how I came to be involved and be influenced by the Bangladeshi community in the Bronx, I just think it's important. I'd like to recognize somebody who's here tonight, who many of you may know his story, but some may not. So if Sergeant Chowdhury could please step forward, talk forward. The police department gives out quite a few awards and ceremonies, and once a year about this time, sometime in October, the police commissioner distributes awards called the Theodore Roosevelt Award, or the Roosevelt Award. And that's significant for a few reasons. I'll explain what it is briefly. Theodore Roosevelt was, of course, the 26th President of the United States. Before that, he had an interesting type of life. Basically, born in New York City in the Lower East Side, overcame struggles as an infant and a young man, battling serious illness of debilitating asthma. And you can imagine in the 1850s, there's not a lot of medical treatment. He was kind of left on his own to overcome it, which he did through perseverance and strength, and just refused to succumb to that. Ultimately wound up being an assemblyman, a secretary in the Navy, a governor, and de facto first police commissioner of the city of New York in about 1894. At that time, it was a board of police commissioners, and he served as the president. And he made some radical changes in the very late 1800s to the way that the New York Police Department operated, and some remain in effect today. So the award is named after him, and it's given to members of the department who overcome severe and serious illnesses and battle through and return to work. Return to work to do what they love. And this year, Sergeant Chowdhury was one of those recipients for struggling through his battle with cancer and returning to the Council of New York and NYPD. So thank you for your perseverance and your inspiration. So, as you heard briefly there, I have had the honor and the privilege to serve as a commanding officer of 3 commands in the city, the 45th, the 43rd, and Midtown South. And it's been said many times, and the commissioner has said it himself, that is the best job in the world. It's the best job in the police department, and I'm telling you that that's the truth. So in 2010, I just want to share a story with you. So the 45th and the 43rd, in the central to northeast Bronx, there's a very large, significant Bangladesh community in both of those precincts. So in 2010, I'm a young captain. I received a phone call probably on a Thursday. He says, "Hey, congratulations, you're going to be the CO of the 4-5 precinct to start Monday." All right, that's good. So between that phone call and Monday, we received a lot of advice, and I don't recall exactly which chief whispered this to me, but it could have been Chief Monahan, or maybe it was Chief Unique in the Bronx. One of them told me, "Listen, you're the mayor of that precinct. You're the police commissioner of that precinct. You got to get over there and get out there and meet the people, meet the community, and find out what's going on." So I said, "Okay, that sounds good. I could be the mayor, I could be the police commissioner, and we'll do this." So I'm in my office that Monday. I'm in the 4-5. Basically, the CO office is right as you enter the front of the precinct. It's the first door on the right. Just boxes. It's disarray. I'm unpacking. And I see something going on with a commotion at the doorway, and basically it's one of my new police officers who works for me is kind of bobbing and weaving. I see a person's head is ducking in and trying to get in. They want to see me. So one of the officers comes in, they close the door, and they say, listen, just sit tight for a minute. We're going to get rid of this guy. I said, all right, well, who is it? It's an easy name to remember. It was a guy by the name of Muhammad Ali. Mr. Ali was a supervisor at the MTA, and he was a community leader in the Bangladesh community. He was there representing a mosque on St. Peter's Avenue who had some issues. So I said, no, bring him in. They said, he comes every day, he's trying to find you, he's been coming here since last week. I said, bring him in, bring him in. So I wound up sitting down with him and we had a long conversation, and like I said, he was some high-level supervisor in the MTA. He had multiple phones, multiple radios, he was giving instructions. He was a busy guy. Long story short, they had some issues over there that needed to be addressed. The relationship with the precinct had become strained, and I was determined at that time to fix it. There was problems that could be fixed. So we set a meeting, and I said, I'm going to come to the mosque. And about a week or so later, I went, and this is where it kind of stuck with me throughout my rest of my career. So I go to the mosque, and we get there. To say that I was treated like the mayor of the PC is an understatement. There was about 200, 250 people. I felt like the presidential motorcade pulling up. They were waiting for me. They were taking pictures. Everybody wanted to meet me. And it was very welcoming. So we proceeded to have a long community meeting about issues. And I basically stayed there for quite a while and heard everybody's issues and complaints. It was quality of life stuff. It was things that the police should be fixing and should be taken care of, and things that we could work together on. So I left that meeting. I learned two things that I kept with me. One was, whichever that chief was who told me, hey, you're the mayor of the PC, you don't like this, they were right, because it felt pretty good to be treated like that and recognized and almost like a semi-celebrity. But the second thing that struck me was, this was a community that wanted to help. They wanted to be involved with the solutions, and they wanted to work together. And for whatever the reason was at that time with that particular precinct, we were shutting the door on them and wasting a resource that really wanted to be a part of the solution. And I think that stayed with me in my next few stops, and it stayed with me to this day. And it very much ties into the message that the commissioner and the chief of department and the chief of patrol, Chief Harrison, put out there with their vision and the Neighborhood Coordination Officer program, and being part of the solution. And I think that in a very big way, they had that message, you know, in 2010 and delivered to me, and I was able to use it. And then here we are, you know, so many years later, and that is the true direction that we have gone in. That it's a shared responsibility, and we work together. So I owe a debt of gratitude to the Bangladesh community in 4-5 and 4-3 for teaching me that lesson and helping me along the way. And I thank BAPA again for having me tonight. So thank
you. ITV, Call of Peace, Save Humanity.